Welcome back to the deep dive. I am so glad you're here with us. We have a fascinating stack of research on the table today, and honestly, it's focusing on something that terrified me for
Oh,
years.
yeah.
It's not grammar, it's not vocabulary lists, and it is definitely not passing an exam.
No, it's something much more personal. Today, we are digging into social dynamics.
Exactly. We're looking at sources from the Steady Step English method, and we're going to tackle the single most scary moment in language learning.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's that split second. You're at a dinner party or a networking event, or maybe just logging onto a Zoom call with a new team. Someone looks at you and says, "So tell me about yourself."
The freezing moment.
The freezing moment. I love that term because it's so physical, Your hands
Yeah.
get sweaty, your heart starts hammering against your
And
ribs.
your brain just shuts down.
It goes completely blank, even though you know plenty of English words.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the physical reaction, because looking at the research here, this isn't just nervousness, it's biology.
Okay.
When you feel judged, your brain enters a fight-or-flight mode, and the prefrontal cortex, that's the part for complex thought and language, it actually gets less oxygen.
So when I'm standing there looking like a statue, it's because my brain thinks I'm being chased by a lion.
Essentially, yes. And that is exactly why we need a deep dive today. We aren't just learning phrases, we're trying to hack that biological response.
So we can move from that silent period where you understand but don't speak into the speaking era.
That's the goal.
And the sources suggest the way to do that isn't by memorizing a dictionary, it's about having a plan.
A blueprint.
Right.
Think of it like construction. If you want to build a house, you don't just start throwing bricks in a pile. You need a frame.
A solid frame.
Exactly. If you have a solid frame, you can build the walls easily. Today, we are going to build the frame for the perfect introduction.
And here's the kicker. We are building a frame that fits into just 30 seconds.
Yes.
Which brings us to the core concept, the elevator pitch.
This is a classic idea from the business world, right? Wall Street in the 80s, I think.
That's the one.
The idea is simple. You get into an elevator with the CEO. You have the time it takes to go from the lobby to the 20th floor to explain who you are and why you matter. That's about 30 seconds.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here. 30 seconds, that sounds impossibly short. For a language learner who might be, translating in their head, isn't that just adding more pressure?
It feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But the research from Steady Step suggests the complete opposite. That 30-second limit is actually a time management tool that saves you.
Wait, how does a limit save you?
Because it forces you to focus.
Yeah.
If you have 5 minutes, you worry about complex grammar and storytelling and all these details. But if you only have 30 seconds, you can't afford to be complicated. You have to be simple. You have to be direct. It sort of removes the burden of choice.
I see. So it's a constraint that actually sets you free. You're not writing a novel.
You're just delivering a headline. Exactly. And to do that without freezing, you need a structure. The Steady Step sources propose a specific framework called the past, present, future model.
Okay, let's unpack this. Past, present, future. It sounds simple enough, but how does it actually work in practice? And does the order matter?
The order matters immensely, and actually the model flips the intuitive order. You don't start with the past.
Wait, really? Most people, when you ask them to tell their story, they start with, "I was born in," or "I studied at."
And that is a mistake. Think about the listener.
Oh.
They want to know who is standing in front of them right now.
Okay.
So the framework starts with, who are you today?
Okay, so step one, the present. Give me an example.
I am a graphic designer based in Brazil. Simple. Grounding. It tells me exactly who you are.
Okay, so I've established my identity. What's the next beam in our construction frame?
Now you go to the past, but, and this is so crucial, you don't stay there. You just visit the past to explain how you got to the present.
Oh, okay.
You might say, I have spent 5 years building brands for tech startups.
And then, logically, we move to the future.
Yes. This is where you tell them where you're going. I am looking to join an international team.
So the flow is, here I am, here's how I got here, and here's where I'm going.
Precisely. And the source material highlights a target vocabulary word here. Transition.
Transition. Oof, that's usually a scary word for learners because it implies those difficult connecting words like nevertheless or furthermore.
It can, but here, the structure is the transition. By moving from present to past to future, you are naturally guiding the listener.
You don't need the fancy words.
You don't need them because the logic of the story connects the dots for you. It's like a GPS map. You don't have to wonder, where do I go next? The map tells you.
That must significantly lower the cognitive load. You aren't panicking about what to say
So
next.
you're just following the map. That's the cognitive offloading we talked about. It frees up your brain to focus on your pronunciation, your smile, and your eye contact.
Okay, so we have our frame. We're building this house. But even with a good frame, you can still use bad bricks, right?
Oh, yeah.
The sources outline some very common mistakes that learners make, traps that can just ruin this 30-second pitch.
Oh, these traps are dangerous. And they come from a good place. They come from wanting to impress people.
The first one is called the dictionary mistake. I think I've been guilty of this one. It's when you try to sound smart by, like, swallowing a thesaurus, right?
It is. It's the belief that big words equal good English.
So instead of saying, I want to help your company, a learner might say, oh, let me try to do a bad version here.
Hmm.
I am currently desiring to facilitate the optimization of your corporate synergies.
Please stop. That was physically painful.
It was, wasn't it? But why is it so bad? I mean, it's grammatically correct, technically.
It's bad because it creates distance. You sound like a robot, or worse, someone who's trying to hide their insecurity behind big words. It's just hard to understand.
So what's the goal then?
The source material offers a much better target word to aim for. Concise.
Concise. Let's drill into that. Concise doesn't just mean short, does it?
No. Short can be rude. Concise means giving a lot of information clearly and efficiently. It respects the listener's time.
So I solve problems is concise. I participate in the resolution of systemic issues
The
is...
dictionary mistake. Exactly. Concise English is confident English. It shows you know your subject so well that you can explain it simply.
That's a great rule of thumb. If you can say it simply, say it simply. Now, let's look at the second trap. This one is called the resume mistake.
This one is a classic. It's the failure to filter.
The sources tell a story about a guy named Jake's friend. And I want to try to act this out because I think we need to hear how boring this is to understand why it fails. So pretend you just asked me about myself.
Okay, so tell me about yourself.
Well, I started working when I was 15 delivering newspapers, and then I worked at a car wash for a summer, which was really hot. And then I was a junior assistant at a library where I stacked books. And then I worked at a coffee shop as a barista, and then I took an internship at...
Okay, I'm going to stop you there
Why? I wasn't finished. I haven't even gotten to my degree yet.
because I stopped listening at car wash. I checked out. My brain just it drifted away.
But that's my history. It's accurate.
It is accurate, but it's not relevant. And this brings us to a really important concept from the research. Credential.
Credential. Okay, this is a key term. What does it mean in this context?
A credential is a specific skill, experience, or qualification that makes you suited for the role right now. It is proof of competence.
So my paper route when I was 15, is that a credential?
I mean, technically, yes. It shows you're punctual. But is it the best credential for a job in software engineering? Probably not.
I get it. The resume mistake is trying to show the whole museum. We just need to show the highlight reel.
Exactly. You are the curator of your own life. You have 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You need to pick the 1 or 2 credentials that support your future goal.
So if you're a designer, talk about design.
Right. Don't talk about the summer you spend painting fences unless you're applying to be a painter.
So we need to be ruthless with our editing.
Ruthless. That is effective time management.
Okay, so we have avoided the dictionary mistake. We're being concise. We have avoided the resume mistake. We are selecting the right credentials. Now we get to the end of the 30 seconds, the landing.
Landing. This is where I swear 90% of people crash.
The sources call this the wait and see mistake. It's that awful moment where you finish talking and you just stop.
And you stare at the other person.
And they stare at you.
And the silence just grows.
It's physically painful just thinking about it. Why do we do this?
We do it because we think the other person will automatically know what to say. But usually they're still processing what you just said. If you stop abruptly, you kill all the
We
momentum.
put all the pressure on them.
All of it. To restart the engine.
So how do we stick the landing? How do we finish the house?
We use a technique called the ask.
The ask. It sounds a little like a sales term.
It is, but it's also a social lubricant. The ask is simply a question or an invitation that you put at the very end of your pitch.
So instead of a period, you end with a question mark.
Exactly. You turn your monologue into a dialogue. You pass the ball.
I love that sports analogy. If I just hold the ball, the game stops. I have to throw it to you. So what does a good ask look like?
Well, it depends on the context. If it's professional, it might be. Does your team work with international clients?
Okay.
If it's social, it might be. So how do you know the host?
And why does this help with the freezing moment?
This is the best part. It helps because as soon as you ask the question, you get to stop talking.
That is a relief.
It really is. You have successfully shifted the spotlight off of yourself and onto them. Now you can relax, breathe, and just listen. You're safe.
And there is another word the source is attached to this technique, memorable.
Yes, being memorable. People think being memorable means, I don't know, wearing a bright yellow suit or telling a crazy joke.
Right.
But actually, people remember how you made them feel. If you ask them a question, you make them feel interesting. You make them feel seen. That makes you memorable.
That is profound. By being interested, you become interesting. All right, we've covered the theory, we've built the frame, selected the bricks, and designed the roof. But this is the deep dive, and we need to hear this in action.
Yes.
I want to know what this actually sounds like when it's done right.
Let's do it. We have 2 scripts here from the source material. We can role play them. And if you're listening, pay attention to the flow, that past, present, future, and the transition to the ask.
I'll take the first one. This is the career pitch. I'm at a networking event. I want to sound professional, but, accessible. Ready?
Ready. Tell me about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm currently a project manager at a tech firm. In the past, I've led remote teams in software development, and I love the challenge of organizing chaos. I'm now looking for opportunities to grow in a global environment. Would you be open to a quick chat about how your team operates?
Nice. That was tight. That was maybe 20 seconds.
It felt fast,
Yeah.
but did it feel rushed?
Not at all. It felt controlled. Let's break it down. Present.
Mm.
I'm a project manager.
Yeah.
Past. I've led remote teams. And notice the credential in there. Remote teams. That is a very high-value skill right now.
And I added a little personality. I love organizing chaos.
Which is great. It's concise, but it adds flavor. And then the future, looking for opportunities. And finally, the ask. Would you be open to a quick chat?
That ask is pretty hard to say no to. It's low pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now let's flip it. Let's do the social pitch, because not every interaction is a job interview. Sometimes you just want to make a friend.
Okay, you take this one. You're a student, you're at a party, and English isn't your first language. Go.
Hi, I'm Jake. I'm a student originally from Spain, but I've lived here for 6 months now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested in photography and exploring the city. I'm also working on improving my English, so I love meeting new people. Have you lived in the city for long?
Oh, I like that. That felt very warm.
It's the same structure, though. Present, student, past. From Spain, here for 6 months. Future, or I guess interest, photography and English.
And the ask, have you lived here long?
It immediately invites me to share my story. And notice, I didn't apologize for my English.
No, you didn't.
I just stated as a fact. I am working on improving my English.
That's a power move. Instead of being ashamed of it, you make it part of your story. It's a credential, really. I am a learner.
It is. It shows humility and ambition at the same time.
So if you're listening, do you hear the difference? We didn't use big academic words. We didn't list every single year of our lives.
We built a bridge to the other person. And that really brings us to the core mission of today's deep dive. We aren't just talking about words. We are talking about mindset.
The sources describe this shift as moving from the silent period to the speaking era.
The silent period is safe. You can't make mistakes if you don't speak, but you also can't connect. You can't grow.
And taking that step, even if it's just for 30 seconds, is a massive accomplishment.
It is, and I want to be clear. The first time you do this, your heart will still race. The biology doesn't change overnight. But if you have the plan, if you have that past, present, future map in your pocket, you can navigate through the fear.
You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be steady.
Right. And that leads us to the mantra from the steady step method. I think this is something to write down on a Post-it note and stick to your mirror.
1 step a day is a journey of 1,000 miles. Transform your silent period into your speaking era. 1 steady step at a time.
It's not a sprint. It is steady step.
Before we go, we like to leave you with a little homework, a thought experiment to carry with you this week.
We talked a lot about credentials today, about choosing what to share and what to hide.
So here's the question. If you truly only had 30 seconds to tell the world who you are, which credential would you choose? And maybe more interestingly, which part of your history would you finally decide to leave out?
It's a question about editing your own life story. Who are you when you cut out all the noise?
Something to think about while you're riding that elevator. Thank you for diving in with us today. Go practice that pitch.
See you next time.